little dog. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day. I just caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, fishing in Florida.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
Well, good morning to you out there. It is a beautiful day here in South Florida. You have to excuse my throat. I had a yelling contest and I lost. And my throat is suffering because of that. Looking at some of the stuff that we got going on around the state today. Excuse me. Still fighting this thing. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day for us. This morning I have Carolyn. Carolyn is with Atlas Trax. And what I like to say about Carolyn is if you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to my friend Carolyn over at Atlas Trax. Good morning, my dear. Oh, you're breaking up again. You're in and out. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if that's the connection between you and me or it's the cell phone. How about trying to call back? Let's try it one more time. Yeah, because she's in and out, in and out. We had this issue a little bit before the show, and then it all cleared up, and now it's back again. Anyway, we'll talk a little bit about what's going on. Let's take a look at the national the marine forecast, NOAA. They're saying that there's going to be winds about 5 to 10 knots. The seas are going to be 2 to 3 feet. The intercoastal waters will have a light chop, so it's going to be a nice day for you guys that want to go out there and do some boating. From what I understand, I'll have to check and see, but I think some of the boat ramps are available now. The beaches will be open tomorrow, so we will have beach report on the next show. Let's see, they're saying that it will reopen effective Monday. Conditions and restrictions. You have to follow the CDC guidelines. You have to limit your gatherings to no more than 10 people, and you have to make sure you practice your social distancing. But I guess that's better than a sharp stick in the eye, isn't it?
Yeah, and Riscala, I'm back, so let me know if this is any better.
Oh, much better. Much better. So I was just talking about the beaches are going to be open tomorrow. And with restrictions, of course, and you have to practice your social distancing and be good little girls and boys and behave yourselves. Otherwise, the God government will come down and stop it all again. I just had it with this insanity. I just can't deal with it anymore. Oh, my goodness. So did you do any fishing this last week?
No, actually, we did a little boat preparation. There were small craft advisories were actually up until late last night. And of course, I was just checking the Hillsborough Inlet cam, and it looks like there are about 3 boats going out every 10 seconds out the inlet. It looks flat calm. Seas are about 2 feet or less from what I just read. So it's might drop the boat in the water and go do a little mutton snapper.
Oh, man. Tight lines. I just looked at the marine forecast, and they're 2 to 3 out in the out near the deep blue, and they're light chop in the intercoastal water. So it really does look like a nice day to be out there. And I don't know if all the boat ramps, or do you know if all the boat ramps are open now in Palm Beach?
Palm Beach and Broward County, I heard they were. Dade County is still supposed to be semi-shut down. They had a higher rate of the virus still in effect. But I'm thinking good things for Palm Beach and Broward County tomorrow. Excellent.
I'll have to see about getting Bruce back on. He's up and up on that stuff. He can tell us all about what's going on with that. But hopefully by next week, we should be pretty well opened up again as a state, open for business, open for parks, open for boat ramps all the way around. We're slowly getting back to some degree of normalcy, which I am welcoming with an open arms. So where are you going to go? If you go fishing today, where do you think?
Well, I've got a little secret spot that's about 70 feet of water just outside the Boca Inlet, so we'd probably run over there. And I have to tell you, I had kind of a strange situation. I went over to Big Dog Tackle to pick up some gear the other day, and social distancing in a tackle store is a little awkward. They're letting one person in at a time.
Wow.
and normally you run into a tackle store, you've got 20 people.
Yeah.
You're asking what you used for rigs yesterday, where you going today, what'd you catch yesterday. So it's a real social gathering, and it was a little strange to be one at a time.
I guess you can hear the frustration in my voice. I'm just had it with all of this. I realize this is a serious situation. I know that people have died from it, but I just can't help but feel that it has been pushed a little too far, just a little too far. The idea of closing the schools and then closing the parks, putting the hardship on the parents that have children. Both parents work, and now you have children at home. They're not in school. And I think that overall there's going to be more harm done by trying to avoid this than what it would have done in and of itself. But I'm glad that things are finally getting back, because I think a lot of people feel like I feel, just frustrated. This is enough already. My sincere condolences to those families who have suffered some degree from this horrible thing. But the truth is the truth, and what they told us initially is not accurate. They said there was going to be millions of people, and then right after that they changed it to half of that, and then they changed it to a quarter of that. And now we got like 30 million people that are affected by this, that one way or another. So I'm glad that things are slowly getting back, because I think it took a toll on us. I know it took a toll on me. It took a toll on me emotionally. It took a toll on me financially. I know I'm not the only one that's going through that. It's going to be a revival, I hope, for our whole country, that we start getting back to business. I think of
Georgia's totally open right now, and you know what? Everyone's going to be excited because they all get to go back to work and get out and do what we love. So I know we're at the downside. This is exciting. Tomorrow's going to be an exciting day. Yeah. Every day going forward.
Yeah, it's a lot better feeling to know that things are beginning to open up versus what we were experiencing prior. So let's take a couple of minutes to talk about Atlas Trax for a second, because since we have a couple of minutes here, I know that you have. I love the hotspot thing. Let's talk about the hotspot thing first, because that I think is so cool. You have this thing called a hotspot, and tell the listeners what it does.
Sure. So the hotspot is a small device that you can turn on your boat or anywhere that you are out of cellular range, and turn up to 6 smart devices into your own satellite network. So what that means is if you need to make a phone call and you'd have no cellular service, turn on your phone, connect to this hotspot, and you can actually dial anywhere in the world. You can send text messages anywhere in the world. You can even do social media and post. A lot of the fishermen will post their fishing catch right offshore, out of cell range, and get that on their Facebook page or their Twitter page. It has an SOS button on it that you can program up to 2 people to get your latitudes, your longitudes, location, and send a message that you're in duress, which is amazing. Even if you can't even get to your phone, Riscala, to turn it on, just hit the SOS button and you'll get bound. That's the exciting thing. And it's $250 for the hardware. You can't beat that. And $50 a month for unlimited service.
You beat me to it.
I mean, my cell phone, I pay $100, and I don't even use, cell phone. We use it every day. We take it for granted. This is satellite coverage for $50 a month.
It's very affordable. Very, very affordable. And I take it there's probably like a data limit or something. If you, like we have with our phones, if you have a particular calling plan, do they have calling plans, or is it just one thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So the promotion that they're doing now is $50 a month for the first 12 months, unlimited. So you can make satellite phone calls all day long if you wanted to, and play on the internet, and it's $50 flat fee. So it's so incredibly affordable. And we're coming into 2 things here in Florida. For our listeners, we're coming into hurricane season and Memorial Day weekend, and boating safety is so critical. So we have everything on sale. We have $150 off on boat trackers. We have $50 off on personal trackers. This hotspot's half off. I mean, it's so important to start stocking up and making your hurricane ditch bags wherever you are up the coast of the United States. Even for hunters, make that ditch bag for hunters. Have safety devices if you're going to go out backcountry fishing, hunting, hog hunting, whatever you're going to be doing. And now's the time to really put all this kind of gear together for safety.
You were mentioning the hunting. I guess one of the friends on my Facebook had put up a post which was kind of sad. He took his hunting dogs out to a new area he had never been before, and they were hunting out there, and he lost his dogs. And he put a post up, if you see my dogs, they're in this area, please let me know, blah, 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 blah. And the first thing I thought about is that little thing that you were talking about, this new tracker for pets. So I put your name, I gave him your name on his post. I know you're not friends with him, so he won't show up on your Facebook, but maybe he'll contact you. Yeah, he lost both of his dogs out there in a new area where they were hunting. And before he knew it, he could hear them, but he couldn't, they wouldn't come. Having one of those things that you got, he could have easily, if I understand the way it works, he could have just pulled out his cell phone and go, okay, I know where you are, you little booger. Here I come.
Oh, absolutely, Riscala. And, I just got mine yesterday. I'm going to be putting it on Ralphie today. Just it attaches it small. It attaches right to a collar or to a harness. And as soon as that animal leaves that area, so, for example, he could have made an invisible fence around the area he was hunting, or just left it totally live every time the dog was running around, and he could have seen real time on his phone, exactly where they were, or where they ended up, if they ended up in someone's, backyard and they took them inside looking for the owners. But, that's a sad situation, and hopefully I can reach out to him and talk to him about it. But sure, we love our pets. If they get out of the house.
My kids. They're like kids.
Here's what's great about this tracker. You can put it on Fido's collar, but then if you're going to need it for something personally, you take it with you now on a little road trip or an ATV. So it's not dedicated to pets, but we made it small for pets. That's the exciting thing about it.
Yeah, that's great because the portability of the devices. Like the other one, my other favorite thing that you have is the credit card one. And I refer to it, I know it's not the thickness of a credit card, but it's about the size of a credit card. That's the other one that I like. Completely waterproof, self-contained, a whole unit in and of itself. Slip it in your back pocket. And God forbid that something happens. When we had a serious accident here off of, where was it? It was a 32-foot, I think it was a 30, and they ended up arresting the young man. He was drunk. He was operating his vessel while he had been drinking, and he ran into and somebody died. One of the people in the other boats died. It's just something that was had that happened. I think it would happen close to shore, but had it happened offshore, what would you have done? If you didn't, your boat's going down. You're out of cell range. What are you going to do? It's a sad thing, so you never know what's going on out there. And this is something that makes you stand out like a sore thumb when it comes to looking for a needle in a haystack. And that's what we need when we're in a situation like that. You literally stand out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, here's another very, very unique situation. We had a customer in Nassau was driving his vessel. Some guy was diving in an area he shouldn't have and surfaced. The boat ran over him and cut off his arm. And they were able to, recover it, get the guy to safety. But only because of the tracker did it prove to the police that they were driving the boat in the area that they should have been.
Wow.
Driving. So not only did they save this guy that was swimming in the incorrect area, it also exonerated them from any further charges because the tracker was so precise. It showed them driving in the channel for the boats.
I didn't even think about something like that. My goodness, that's an excellent point. There's so many things that we could run into out there, and everybody wants to have a good time, enjoy yourself, come back, go out safe, come back safe. One of those things. But I do. Those two things I really do like. Well, actually, three things now because it's the newest thing with the pet. But those three things are the hotspot. I think is my most favorite because I can be anywhere, literally anywhere, and not have to worry about being able to communicate. And then the little portable credit card one, I call it. I like that because I can slip it in my pocket if I don't need it in my pocket, and I'm worried about somebody. I've got a jet ski, and I'm going to park it overnight somewhere in an area I'm not familiar with, and I do everything I can to protect it. I can slip one of these somewhere in it, and if somebody decides that they want it, at least I can find it pretty quick. And then the pet thing. The pet thing, I think, is going to be a home run. There are so many of us. I have a dog that I adopted. I think he's 4 years old. I've had him for a couple of years. The first physical day I got him at night, the first day that I got him, I took him out back, had him on a leash. He did his business. I brought him back in through the porch. I opened the sliding glass door, and as I opened the sliding glass door, I undid his leash. When I undid his leash, He did a run in the opposite direction, literally through the screen. He went through the screen and took off down in the neighborhood. Now, this is the first physical day I've had this dog, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, my goodness. I had to follow him around, and I'm surprised I didn't get a heart attack then. I had to follow him around for about 45 minutes because I couldn't figure out where he was at. He'd run in and out of yards. It was just a nightmare. Having one of these, at least I would have been able to get in my car instead of trying to run behind him and go get him. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it's really going to be a home run. There's a lot of us that have my neighbor down the street, 3 houses down. His son has a husky. That's what I have, is a husky. And his husky runs from him as well. And I had mentioned him. I said, hey, I think I know somebody who's going to have something that can help you with your dog if it runs off. His eyes lit up, golf balls. It was, so there's a lot of us out there that are concerned about our pets. And, like you said, they're like our kids. Like I have people refer to him as my furry child.
Well, absolutely. And, I'll post up, I'll be putting mine on Ralphie today, and I'll post up some sample maps so you can, listeners can see what they look like. But, you even have, our dogs are beautiful. What's to say someone's not going to put one in a car,
Sad.
put one in a car, and decide not to take it somewhere to see if it's chipped and decide that's their new dog. That's happened too. So, we just have to be careful in being hit by vehicles. And it's nice. It's going to be nice to be notified the moment he steps out of the yard or out of the front of the house.
I love that.
Me walking around too, I'll be able to see how far did I walk him today. So it's double duty for a little bit of physical activity for us as well. And for $100, it's going to be so affordable for everybody. Wow.
And now how does that work? You pay a one-time fee and that's it? Or is there a monthly fee for that as well?
Sure. So you pay $100 for the hardware, and the monthly fee is probably going to be about $20 a month.
Oh, my gosh.
It's so affordable. Pennies a day.
Oh, my goodness. That's a cheap date. It's not even a movie ticket anymore. Well worth it. Well worth the investment. All of this stuff that we talk about, I like to refer to it as an investment because that's really what it is. You have, if we're talking about a boat, my gosh, how many tens of thousands of dollars in that? If we're talking about jet skis, Carolyn has tracked, you name it, Carolyn has tracked it. Icebergs, I like that one. She's tracked icebergs, airplanes, construction equipment, just about anything that can be moved that I could think of, even human beings. Carolyn has an answer for you that can help you with it. It's peace of mind, really.
Sure.
For me, it's peace of mind.
We even have about 35 barges that are in Seattle and British Columbia, and they're using some of the trackers on sunken boats to mark them. Buoys, in case they get freed up from the bottom, navigational buoys, they just strap one of our solar trackers right to the top of a navigational buoy. They never have to give it maintenance. It runs from the sun. So, science buoys, water collection, things like that. So we're pretty excited about people ask us, can we do it? And we're like, sure, we could do it.
I love it. And that's great. So if you have something that you want to protect, this is the young lady you need to speak to because she has the latest and greatest in technology that can help you. We work really hard. I know I do work hard to be able to get what I have and to have someone come along. And sadly, there are people out there that are like that. They just feel like, oh, well, I deserve it more than them. I'll just take it. And as a result, I went through that many years ago. I went through that with a car I had saved and saved and saved, and I was going to buy a new car, but they were still quite expensive. And I thought to myself, well, if I buy a new car, as soon as I drive it off the lot, it's going to depreciate. So I'm going to buy a car that I think someone else would have taken good care of. So I looked up Cadillacs. I figured, well, somebody can afford a Cadillac. I could probably buy a used Cadillac, a nice used Cadillac, for as much as I could buy a new car. And that's basically what actually it cost me a little less. I found I think he was a colonel down in Homestead Air Base at the time. He was getting ready to go overseas, and he had this Cadillac, beautiful Cadillac, silver, dark tinted windows, spiked rims. And little did I think at the time that it was a pimp's car. All the pimps wanted this car. The car got stolen 3 times in 1 year. 3 times. I didn't have anything like what you have today. I would have loved to have something like that. One time was literally out of my front yard. Literally, I had just gotten back from the grocery store, just taken the groceries into the house. That long. I don't know whether they were following me or they just happened to meet at that place at that time. But I walked in, set the grocery bags down. I said something to my wife at the time and turned around and went back out. The car was gone. I was so flabbergasted. It was so quick. I mean, gone. You couldn't even see it. Down the street, kind of gone. It was invisible, gone. So I didn't have these kind of things back then. Today we do. And that's peace of mind. That's that feeling of coming out and finding something that belongs to you gone. I don't want to go through that. And if I have to go through that, I want to be able to get some recourse. And the recourse would be to be able to know where that's at. And the faster, I know this from experience, the faster I get it back, the odds are greater that it will be in the shape it was when it left. The longer that it takes for me to get it back, the greater the odds will be that it'll be pretty well tore up. Because that's what happens with a lot of the vessels down here in South Florida. They'll take the vessels, and it'll take them a very brief period of time before they rip down what they want out of the vessels and leave the hull. If you're able to locate that, whatever that is, whether it's a boat, a piece of equipment, whatever that might be, the sooner that you are able to retrieve your equipment, the higher your odds are that that equipment will come back in the shape that it was, or very little damage before it left. The longer, the less chance that you have of getting your equipment back, or if you do get it back, it's not going to be in very good shape.
Absolutely. And, trackers are being used for productivity as well. So we have a lot of jet ski companies or boat charter companies that will have trackers because they want to know when are the boats coming back from that half-day charter to get it ready, turned around.
Yeah.
How many hours did the boat run? If somebody broke down on a jet ski somewhere, they can go get them and recover them. We've got boats down in Cabo because we've got customers in the U.S. running charter businesses, and just as the captain taking the boat out when it's not supposed to go out. Is the revenue match up for a sailboat in British Columbia? I'm sorry, in the British Virgin Islands. So much production. We've got a gentleman in Texas that has the same mini tracks that you love on a tractor, huge tractor for turning over land. He gets grants from the Texas government if he proves he has a tracker on the equipment that it's moving a certain period of time. So, all kinds of just double checkups. And agriculture, huge agriculture starting to use GPS trackers for even planting. Where did they put the corn? Where did they put the
Oh, my gosh.
So,
wow.
Yeah. So there's some
That's
new technology
crazy.
coming out that we're pretty excited to try and get into.
That is crazy. Oh, my goodness. I had no idea. I'm thinking about the farming thing. That was something completely out of the blue for me. Wow. All right. Well, we're up against the break. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, hopefully we'll have Dave with us. Dave's got some exciting stuff he's going to share with us. So don't go away. Here we go.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show with your host, Scala Stevens. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped. Even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion. Air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Hollywood Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Hollywood Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Hollywood Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Hollywood Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Hollywood Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Hollywood Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, fishing in Florida.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. Good morning, good morning. If you're just joining us, we will have archives set up. I'm had a little bit of an issue getting some of them on up on the web, but I'm kind of working that around. We will have archives set up, so anything that you've missed, you can always catch up on. And this morning I have Carolyn with Atlas Trax. Carolyn, you know what I like to say about Carolyn? If you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to this young lady over at Atlas Trax. She has got some phenomenal stuff. Welcome back, Carolyn. You know, you're doing it again. I don't know if it's you or me, but you're kind of fading in and out. I think it sounds like almost like you're in bad cell range. Try calling me back, Carolyn. In the meantime, I think I have David on. David, is that you?
Yes, sir. How's it going? Good morning.
Good morning. David Marciano, a well-known individual here in South Florida who does a wide variety of things, particularly fishing. I was looking forward to having Carolyn when she comes back on. I'm going to see if she can quick enough.
I do apologize for last weekend.
Not a problem. That's not a problem. This is something that we...
That was totally on me. I completely spaced out my call time.
Oh, well, Carolyn's done that to me a couple of times. She was fishing one time and was cleaning fish and didn't realize that her slot had come up. And the whole show went by, and then she called me later and goes, so it happens. It's not we understand. We all have those times when...
I apologize, though.
No problem.
I tried not to let that happen.
Now let me see. Are
Well,
you
I'm back, guys. So
Good.
I don't know if it's any better. I can't
Yes.
get any better than outside. So hi, Dave. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hello.
Carolyn?
How's the bottom painting yesterday?
Oh, good. We're actually, doing the top side. The boat's in the water, so we're just trying to take advantage of this downtime. I mean, she needed it. She needed a coat of color, make her all look pretty for when we do, get back into business. You know what I mean? But we're happy. We're grinding away, getting it
Hot
done.
dog. Hey, Carolyn?
I'd love to know how you got involved with Wicked Tuna. Was it one of those right place at the right times? How did that all turn around?
I think that's a great way to describe it. When they came to town, now when I say they, it was Pilgrim Production Company. They're based in L.A. If people look them up, all they do is produce reality shows. They were in town for 10 days. I had no idea any of it was going on. On the 9th day, they reached out to me. They gave me the rundown. We got an idea for a show. They had done a bunch of interviews at one of the biggest marinas over here where there's a lot of boats that persecute the tuna fishery, the KYAH Marina. But there are a lot of the fancier boats, I guess. Not so much commercial boats like my old boat. And they gave me the rundown. And the first words out of my mouth, I'm a commercial fisherman, right? The first words out of my mouth were, is there a check involved, right? And when they said yes, they said, we'll give you $400 to come down tomorrow. It's our last day in town, and we'll do a 45-minute video interview. Now, for all of right, in some weeks, $400 is a good week's pay. They were offering me that for 45 minutes. So I said I'll be down first thing in the morning.
You betcha. I'd be right behind you.
Exactly. And I will say, not in a million years did I expect it to, be where it's at today. I never saw this coming where, we're having discussions now. Granted, it's a challenging discussion this year with the world being what it is. But, for the moment, we're having discussions about planning on filming season 10.
Hallelujah.
That's so exciting. Now you're not fishing now for when does the filming actually start? In July, August?
July through mid-July, say mid through September traditionally. Now, normally we would be doing our charter fishery now up here in Massachusetts. After a long winter, our bottom fishery opens up on April 15th in New England. And, it's not exciting as, some of the fisheries that happen in Florida, but it's what we have in New England. And, people are anxious to go do it. But obviously, because of the national situation, the global situation, the pandemic, that's been put on hold for now.
So how far out do you have to go out of Gloucester, Massachusetts to get to some of these bottom fisheries?
Not far. It's a relatively handy fishery. Say we probably average, especially given the limitations on our, the idea of the trip. It's a 9-hour trip, right? A day trip, like an all-day trip. It's anywhere from, say, 10 to, maybe 22, 23 miles, within circumference of Gloucester. Sometimes a bit closer. It's, it's fishing. We go where the fish show up. So that's all.
Follow the
film
school.
Wicked Tuna. How far are you going out for Wicked Tuna to film those?
Well, that's the same thing. At times of the year, you've seen on the show, at times of the year, we could be within a few miles of the beach. And at other times of the year, we may have to travel 150 miles for the fish.
Holy smokes. Wow.
The tuna can be, they're a highly migratory species, right? And the Gulf of Maine is quite a large expanse. So, it encompasses 3 states, encompass the Gulf of Maine. So, we're talking literally hundreds of thousands of square miles where the best fishing could show up. It's generally, as a rule of thumb, a few fish show up everywhere. But as always, the question is, where's the good fishing? And sometimes you have to travel for it.
Wow.
Right. How many tunas are you allowed to bring in per day? I was reading up a little bit. Is it 2 per day?
Yeah, this year it's going to start out at 1 per trip, right? And it's per trip, not per day. Per day is a little misleading because even if we're out for 3 days, the possession limit is 1.
Holy smokes.
That's reflective of how healthy the resource is. It's not, we haven't been reduced to 1 because there's lack of fish. Our quotas have actually been increased for the past few years. We keep getting more fish because the resource is doing so well. What happens is we have a finite amount of fish to catch for the season. The season being from, say, June 1st when it opens by law to around about Thanksgiving when the water gets cold and the fish move on. Now, if the fish come easy, if they're easy to catch, if we allowed 3 a day with the number of boats that are out there, we'd be all done fishing for the year in a few weeks. We would catch that annual quota for the year. So as a way to prolong the fishery for as long as possible and try and slow down, the amount of fish coming in per day to kind of keep the prices a little better, they limit the amount of fish we can possess. Now, that's always a tricky thing to do. In the past, you've seen us on the show being permitted to land as many as 5 per trip. That was because leading up to that, we had a few years where the fish just didn't show up.
Wow. We're talking about 1 fish, but what's the size of this fish?
These tuna can, to be legal for commercial harvest, it's got to be the minimum size length is 72 inches. So it's a 6-foot fish before we can keep it. And they can get up to, say, 120 inches plus and weigh in excess of 1,000 pounds.
Holy.
So 200 to 1,000 pounds.
Oh, my gosh.
I would say our average fish is in the 300 to 400 pound range if you look at averages. But again, if you watch the show, you see us catch fish from, 50 pounds on up to 1,000 pounds and everything in the middle. And that's one of the indicators of a healthy biomass. When you have a very good age structure, which means, fish of many different sizes, that's one of the indicators for the stock being very healthy. There's many different successful year classes in the fishery. So even if Mother Nature throws a curveball in 1 or 2 years, the fish reproduction rates aren't good, the stock will still continue to thrive. Now, for our recreational fishery, which has its own separate quota, people are allowed to possess some of the fish that on the show you see us call them shorts because we can't sell them, but they can be retained for personal consumption by private boat fishermen.
Now, for the listeners, you have to hand fight these tuna. So how many hours or how many minutes does a typical 600-pound tuna take to get to the boat?
Okay. Well, that's a great question. I would say the average is 35 to 40 minutes, right? But it's funny, you mentioned, it'll drag on. I fought for fish for 10 or 11 hours and landed them and lost them. It really all depends on what size gear you hook it on. Some days the fish are biting shy, so you try that smaller hook or that lighter leader, which I'm sure your audience can identify with, just to get the fish to bite. And if you hook it on the shy gear, you're going to have to play it. If you try and horse it, you're just going to pop them off.
How do you bring, I can't even imagine this. How do you bring in a large tuna by hand? And how do you deal with when I'm dealing with a reel, I got a drag on there, I can adjust back and forth. How do you do that?
Well, we do, and again, what's different, if for those who don't watch the show and those who do, the way we're fighting these fish, we're leaving it in the hot rod holder. Now, the purists call that cheating, but we make no claims to be sport fishermen. We're commercial fishermen, we're targeting these fish with the idea of landing them. So, we take turns on the rod because we have a saying, when you get tired, the fish gets the rest, right?
Yep.
So we like to keep fresh blood on the rod.
Yep.
And it's about a team effort for us. It's not about, being a hero and being the only one to land that fish. And it takes time and stamina. But, like last year, we had a 73-year-old woman come with us in our October fishery. And, her son brought her out. Her son was my age, in his mid-50s. And his mom was out there. And at first I was like, when he came down the boat, I was like, are you sure she wants to go? And he said, oh, yeah, trust me, she's good. And, his mom, he got on the rod for a while. And his mom, when she took over the rod, because of the way we do it, because it's not, you're not physically holding those giant rods, she got on the rod and wouldn't give the rod up till we landed the fish. We had a 73-year-old woman land a 330 or so pound
Oh my
fish.
gosh, what a riot!
So the point is, as long as you can be a good listener, I can take anybody out there to catch a fish like that.
That's
All
amazing.
you have to do is listen to, guys like myself or my crew who have a little bit of experience, and there's some techniques, but it's not rocket science. It can be easily done by anybody.
And Riscala, Dave, this is we always talk about family and how important family is. Riscala, Dave's son is his fish mate on his boat, and your wife participates also in a fish mating, which you can?
Yeah, she does on occasion. While we're filming, the show is a snapshot of our overall year. So she goes really a lot more often than gets seen on the show. But that's how it is in real life for us. Sometimes she gets jealous, she sees us out there fishing and catching and she can't go. But, let's face it, behind every successful commercial fisherman, there's a wife that makes it all possible because, she's the one who keeps the household together. Well, sometimes I'm offshore for days on end.
Yeah, that is a common denominator between successful people. They have a partner that is 100% supporting them and doing whatever they can to make sure that their success continues on. That's awesome. I love it when I hear about families doing stuff like that, because that was my fishing in my experience of life growing up. My mom loved fishing. And as a result of that, it was not uncommon for us to go 3 or 4 times, once every weekend, every month, somewhere fishing as a family. And we enjoyed, and we all did a part. I would catch, we'd all catch fish. My mom, I would scale them. My brother would scale them. I would help clean them. My mom would prep them. My dad would cook them. So everybody did their little part. And I believe, this is just my personal opinion, I believe it was an aid for our relationships. It was kind of like a glue, if you will, for our relationship, because we're all experiencing the same thing. We're all doing a little part, so we all feel like we're involved. We have skin in the game, if you will. And those are the kind of stories I like to hear, because that's really what builds the strength of our country. We need that strength today more than ever. We need the strength of the family today more than ever before.
I agree.
I have to tell Riscala, there's a really cool event up. Dave's up in Gloucester, which is full of history. And I was lucky, Dave, to come up there in 2008 for what's called the St. Peter's Fiesta, Riscala.
Yeah.
And it's the blessing of the fleet. They have
I've heard
some
about
cardinals go out
Yeah.
and actually by water bless the fleets.
Wow.
It's a pretty amazing thing. And they have this event called the Greasy Pole. The horizontal pole over the water that they grease up with fish guts and Crisco, and there's a flag at the end of it. It's 40 feet long, and the goal is to run to the end of it without falling off and getting that flag. And what bragging rights do you get from that flag, Dave? I forget.
Well, I mean, you get the bragging rights. That's it. Like, I've never walked the pole myself. That's, that's for the young guys, and that's especially for the truly local boys, kind of own that genre. And it's a great event, though. Part of the community fabric that really makes Gloucester its own unique fishing community, because it has such a rich history of fishing here. Gloucester has a 400 plus year history of commercial fishing in this town. So it's always been a long part of that historical tradition.
Wow. Well, Carolyn knows that I do anything that has families, I am 100% supportive of, and that's really some of my heartstrings. It's something that I feel very passionate about, children and families. It's just something that has been with me for all of my life, that this is a vital component of our society today, is to be able to have families that have relationships. I mean, we all have, we can have families, but families with relationships, families that do things together, families that enjoy being with each other instead of holding this little piece of equipment. while you're 2 feet away from another human being, your attention goes into a little piece of equipment. So those are the kind of things I like. And anytime that I like to promote family businesses. Carolyn knows that. I have a family business. Carolyn has a family business. It's as we come out of this whatever you want to call this that we're going through, more and more places are opening up. I'm hoping people will realize that the small business people, particularly family-owned small businesses, are going to be needing your help, whether that is a commercial fisherman in whatever way you can help him, whether that is somebody like Atlas Trax, if you can help her, whether that's somebody like me who does electronic technician work. I'm hoping that people will look to this more now than ever before, because we are really going to need that help. This is where America can shine. Focus on the small family-owned business, locally owned businesses. It's the greatest investment that you can make. Anyway, we kind of got ahead of ourselves because I lost Carolyn. I wanted Carolyn to introduce you, and we kind of got away from all that. So, Carolyn, I'm going to take a break. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I want you to tell us a little bit about Dave, so that we have an idea what these experiences that he's been talking about, how you found out about all that.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show with your host, Scala Stevens. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped, even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion: air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclubb.com. That's www.susanclubb.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
Oh, I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper, 'cause I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, fishing in Florida.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show. Good morning, good morning. If you're just joining us, we will have archives set up. You can catch up on anything that we missed. In the meantime, I want to say a big thank you to our home network, WCET FM 101.7 out of Columbia Talk. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. You can listen to us a wide variety of ways. The app is ready. We will have an app, by the way. We will have our own little app, and it is purposely done in such a way where it's just nothing more than you get to listen to our network. There's a lot of apps out there that are downloaded that you get for free, and along with that, you get a lot of commercial stuff. I purposely worked with the designer not to do that. It utilizes a very minimal amount of resources on your phones, and it's just basically turns your phone into a radio receiver, but only for our network. And so you can listen to us and all the other shows that we have on our network. HighPoint Radio, 1690 AM out of New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Thank you, you guys. Greatly appreciate it. They also carry our show. KYAH, 540 AM, Utah's Talk Authority. They also carry our network. And our latest, Marina Rock Radio. Marina Rock Radio is Yacht Rock's sister station, and they are a tune-in station. So if you have the tune-in app, that's another way that you can listen to us. So we're making it easier and easier for the listeners to be able to tune in. The app is ready and should be in the stores next week, hopefully, if all goes well. Or you can go on the web, www.wcetfm.com, and listen to us there. Or you can go on Facebook and click on Contact Us. If you go to Fishing in Florida on Facebook and click on Contact Us, you can listen to us that way. That'll get you a direct link to our live server. So anyway, a lot of ways that you can listen to us. We're making it easier and easier for everybody. I greatly appreciate all of you out there who take the time and allow us to share with you on Sunday mornings some of these things that we have. I have learned so much doing this show. I don't pretend to be a professional. I just pretend to be somebody who loves fishing, which I do. And this morning I have Carolyn with Atlas Trax. Let me welcome her back. Welcome back, Miss Carolyn.
Welcome back. Yeah, absolutely, Scott.
Yeah, it's starting to do it again. I hope that that'll clear up. And David Marciano. David is with Wicked Tuna, and Wicked Tuna has a little TV thing going on. And I was wanting Carolyn before we did all that. I was hoping that we could get her to give us a kind of a introduction. And Carolyn is the one who reached out to David. Thank you, Carolyn. I greatly appreciate that. And David, I am ever so grateful that you took the time to share with us this morning. Let me give Carolyn an opportunity, if she can here. Tell us a little bit about how you found out about Dave.
Absolutely. Another small family business here in Deerfield Beach called
Briscoe's.
It's a great Italian restaurant. And my girlfriend and her husband, they run it, and she was saying how her brother Aldo was coming in with Dave Marciano a bunch of months ago. So I decided to reach out and see if Dave would be willing to call in, and when he's in Florida, come fishing with us and show us really how it's done. And Dave was gracious enough to say yes. So thank you, Dave.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Now, Dave, how is Massachusetts with regard to the private boat ramps and things of that nature? Are they still closed down?
No, they recently opened the boat ramps, with obvious guidelines for that to keep the crowds down. And we're waiting, for the same type of thing in the for hire industry as well. We expect the state actually has said that it's going to announce on Monday what our guidelines and timelines might look like going forward.
So things
Hey,
are.
Dave, I've got a quick question on the show while I'm thinking about it, Rascala. Do you mind?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So you always see these camaraderies and these little spats you all have when they're cutting the show together. My question is, do you guys all hang out in private and you're all buddies and they're just doing that for the show?
Look, I mean, when the fisheries happen, and these fish are worth money, and we are all trying to catch as much as we can. And, again, there's a finite amount of pie, but the way the system works, we're all lobbying for as many pieces of that pie as we're able. So at times, tempers flare. You add that on top of our work schedule. There's times where when we're fishing and engaged in the fishery in that time of the season, we're on our feet for 42, 48 hours at a whack, sometimes more, 72 hours with no sleep.
Holy
So
smoke.
you get a little aggravated and frustrated. But that being said, we all know nobody's going anywhere. You know what I mean? Ultimately, we're going to be playing this game with the other boats for a long time. So usually before the season's over, or at the very latest at the end of the season, where there was a little bit of bad blood, parties usually come together and, like grown adults, and sort of have a discussion and sort your differences and move on, because, again, we all know nobody's going anywhere. We're all here for the long term.
Cool. Go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to say, how many consistent boats are in the show? You always see yours, the Falcon, you see Wicked Tuna, you see a bunch of, how many guys really are the real players that get filmed in the show?
You only see a small percent of the boats in the fishery on the show. The show consists of, there's actually only 2 of us now that are part of the original cast from season 1, and that's myself and Dave on the .com. Every year, and it's part of how they're going to keep this thing lively, is they will add a few new boats to that cast of 5 kind of core vessels. And it's all about personalities, right? They're looking for the next big personality, to keep people interested in the show. But the truth is there's probably 3,000 permits in the tri-state area that are able to access the fishery. And out of that 3,000 permits, there's probably 200 boats. Again, we're talking the tri-state area, Maine, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire, that try and have a go at this and make some money doing it. So you're just seeing a small fraction of the kind of overall working fleet that's out there.
Wow.
So Dave, if people want to go out, they could charter your family business, right?
Yes. I run. If for people who have followed the show, I started the show with my original boat, the Hard Merchandise, and now with my son graduating college, he has taken over that older boat.
Wow.
I have another boat now. It's new to me. It's a 43 Torres that was built in 1986 down there in Key West, Florida. I believe it's Backle Boats now, as the company has changed hands. But so if they're interested in chartering with either myself or my son, or interested in, T-shirts, hats, or bobbleheads, or anything else related to our boats or the show, they can visit our website at angelicafisheries.com.
So when is the show premiere again?
The show comes on tonight, actually, Sunday night, 9 p.m. on the National Geographic Channel. And if folks haven't tuned in yet, they usually air a couple episodes, from the weeks prior leading up to the debut of the new episode tonight. So it's a great way to do a little catch-up if you want. And for those of you out there who may have Disney Plus, that Disney Plus app, it's also prior seasons are also on the Disney Plus app.
Exciting stuff. Can't wait to watch it tonight.
I'm curious. In Massachusetts, here in Florida, we're pretty much opening up quite a bit tomorrow. How much of the state in Massachusetts are you like Florida, or is it pretty much opening up as well?
Oh no, we're because I think for a time we were we were one of the hot spots, the state of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Now, I'll admit, as a businessman, I'm becoming a bit frustrated.
Well, welcome to my world.
To get back to work. but I'm not. I agree. For a time, we needed to take the steps necessary.
Yeah.
Here because of the concentration of cases, which I believe was completely different than what you guys saw in Florida. You know what I mean? So but we are anxious to get back to work, and we expect the state tomorrow to come out with, the guidelines and kind of a timeline for how we will get back into business. Because it's important to us. Unlike Florida, we don't have nice weather year round. We have a
that's even more pressure.
Where we got to make a year's worth of income. So if we don't get back to work soon, the reality is for a lot of these businesses up here that are dependent on that tourist boom in the summer, they're not going to make it a whole other year with no income. But like I'm seeing clients now, every week this drags on. We were fully booked for the year before this all started, and every week this drags on, we're canceling trips later and later into the year.
Sad.
I've got clients canceling trips in September and October now, just because they don't know if they have a job anymore. They don't know if they're going. They're not going to do their family vacation this summer. It's just the unknown that seems to be becoming a real problem for the rest of the world. To make plans about travel. It's not so much the virus itself; it's just the financial situation now that it seems to be scaring people.
This is what I'm seeing. I'm experiencing the same thing, the very same thing. That's why I was asking about, how far along your state has come.
Right.
I know that.
Again, I'll keep politics out of it, but I'm not thrilled.
No, but this is that's the problem, Dave. That's the problem. Everybody thinks it's politics. It's not. How can it be politics when it affects your life? Your very life.
No, it seems like you and I could probably have a reasonable discussion about next steps, but so much of it is, again, it's turned way too political to even have a rational conversation. All of a sudden, the labels start flying.
Yeah. No, that's sad. That's something we need to work on. Because if we're ever going to move forward, we need to be able to work through a discussion on how we're going to be able to do that without getting the emotional part of it. And it's difficult. I can sense the frustration you feel. I am extremely frustrated. I'm a small business owner, and every day that goes by, being literally forced out of business is quite aggravating. The 24 years of my life.
Look, I'll admit I'm fortunate. Because of the show, I've had a few good years, leading up to this situation. So, although I'm not immune, I did the right things when things were good. And I'm going to be okay for the short term. But I really watch, I'm watching all the other business owners and the other boat owners that, weren't as fortunate as myself. And they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were dependent on this kickoff of that, April 15th business season, and it's already, a month behind now, and that's a month gone from a 4 or 5 month season. So, that's a big hit. That's, when you think about it from a business perspective, for those guys, that's 20% of the annual income is gone, and we haven't even had the discussion about when we're starting again.
Well, we're going to keep praying that things are going to start opening up more and more all around the country, and we hopefully get back to some degree. I don't know if it will ever be normal again, but some degree of normalcy.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't think the world is ending, but it is going to change, at least for the time being.
Yep.
And ultimately, I don't think it'll be for all doom and gloom. I was having this discussion with my daughter. I was just thinking, because of all the changes we've all made, because of the, what this thing is caused, I think we're going to notice, they won't see it for a few years, but, sickness rates and so many other illnesses are going to diminish because, you know what I mean? I think that's going to be one of those unforeseen consequences that will be a positive that, hey, regular flu season's just got a lot better, and along with a lot of other things that can be transmitted,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, David, I'm all out of time. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to share with us this morning, and I wish you the best on the next season. And it's Wicked Tuna TV. You can find them on National Geographic tonight at 9 p.m. David, God bless you. Wish you an awesome day. Let me let Carolyn say goodbye to you, and then we'll be back.
All right,
Dave, absolutely. When you're in Deerfield, let me know. We'll go get some meatballs.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to getting back there. I love Brusco's. But all right, very good. Thanks for all your time as well, and stay safe, and we'll be standing by.
Be well, my friend. God bless
See you tonight on TV. You got it. God bless.
Thanks. All right, that's David Marciano, Wicked Tuna TV, National Geographic tonight, 9 p.m. Let me bring on my next guest. I think he's actually out there fishing. This is Mike Simko. He is with Kite. Where we go, Mike? Are you there?
Hey, Riscala. Hey, Carolyn. How you guys doing?
Go ahead, Carolyn.
Hey, Michael. Are you out fishing?
Oh, yeah. We're out fishing. We started early. We got a kind of a cool format today. It's they're calling it a pop-up tournament. It's blackfin specifically today.
Oh, wow.
West Palm Fishing Club's putting it on, and it's all because of this pandemic. They're just kind of saying, get in the boat, stay safe, and have some fun fishing.
Hot dog. And so how is the fishing?
Well, you know, I would call it the Dead Sea Scrolls. I mean, flat, calm, not a ripple on the water.
Oh, my goodness.
We're supposed to be catching blackfin, but we've got a pretty good king bite going on right now.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're chumming, we're chunking, we're trying to get these things fired up. But, you know, when it doesn't blow, we're not even moving. Chunks are going straight down below the boat.
Those are some of the most enjoyable times I've had out. I tell people I've been out on the ocean. It's been like a puddle, and that's what you're describing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, no, that's gorgeous. I guess it's already heated up as well, huh?
Yeah, it's starting to warm up. I mean, today's supposed to be a high of 90, but when we got up this morning early, it was really nice and cool, 70 degrees.
My goodness.
On today, Mike.
What's that, Carolyn?
What boat are you fishing on today?
My boat, the Kite Keeper.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, you know, it works out that, you know, pretty much, you know, the marinas have opened back up in South Florida. So, yeah, everybody can kind of launch their boat at the ramp. But I keep mine by the house, and it's been great, the fact that we could actually get on it during the whole duration of this pandemic and be able to at least go offshore and try to stay safe.
That's probably the reason you still have your sanity.
It's true. It's a form of therapy, as we all
It is.
know.
It really. I laugh, but it really is. For me, it's a form of therapy. That's why I was just going crazy. I hadn't been fishing in, a couple of weeks, and hadn't had fresh seafood in quite some time. Carolyn was so kind of Carolyn. She sent me some fresh seafood, which just really made my day because I was just getting so frustrated. I couldn't, you know, just everything I tried, I couldn't come up with. I didn't get to go fishing. I didn't have any fresh fish, and she really made my day. So I know it is therapy. I get out there and it's very enjoyable, especially what you're describing. Those are the days I would dream about. You could just go all over the place.
No kidding. We kind of thought we would be smart and go way south of our Palm Beach Inlet and get away from all the boats. So I ran about 15 miles south. It's a parking lot.
Oh my goodness.
The whole area is a parking lot.
Oh, my
goodness.
goodness.
A lot of people around here having fun.
Well, Mike, if you can, get a couple of pictures and we'll put it up on the Facebook page. Let people see what's going on. I think that would be cool.
So just to, you know, kind of segue into the kite fishing part of this thing. So this morning there was a little light breeze. You actually could feel it about 5 knots. We were able to put the helium balloons up, and a lot of boats around us also were able to get the kites away from the boat. But when the wind stops completely, as it has, they just won't move. I mean, the balloons go straight up in the air, and there's not a lot you can do other than slowly move your boat or troll or bump troll away from the kites. So, honestly, we all pulled them in, and now we're just kind of fishing balloon baits or slow trolling out of the pins of the outriggers. And that's kind of the only thing you can do when the wind completely dies.
Are you seeing weed lines or anything like that out there?
Yeah, I'm at 120 feet of water. We have a nice little rip that's a little bit of a slight current change. There's some rip, there's some weed in it. We got some bonitas in there, kings in it. I see some bait popping, so maybe things will fire up. In fact, the major bite time for today, I think, starts in about 30 minutes. So we're kind of looking forward to that. That's supposedly the best 2 hours of fishing during today. So.
Okay, now you got my curiosity. How do you determine the bite time like that?
So, you know, the old school fishing almanac, but the Salooner tables are something you can look up on the internet. There's a zillion sites that will give you the bite times, both major and minor, for whatever area you're fishing. So I happen to use a site called Tides4, that's the number 4, fishing.com. And then you type in your area of the world, you know, the actual port that you leave from, and it'll give you the bite time. So I plugged in Palm Beach County or, you know, Port of Palm Beach. And today's bite time is from 9:48 until about 11:48. And then there's another little minor bite time after 3:30 today. So those are the times we're focusing on.
That's awesome.
Especially when it's just quiet.
What's the website again, Mike? Tides what?
It's called Tides4 Fishing, and that's the number 4.com.
That's awesome.
What's interesting is I looked up high tide for Deerfield Beach, and it was 6:41 this morning. So that's about right mid-tide then, a little bit past mid-tide.
Yeah, I mean, I think mid-tide is part of it. I also think that where the moons sit, both on the horizon and above and below us. So like when that moon is directly overhead or directly below us is what I consider to be probably a major bite time.
Wow.
And then when the moon is on the horizon, both either east or west, then that's a minor bite time. But if you look on that site, it's very informative. I've got some friends that do a lot of hunting. They live and die by this. Bass fishermen live and die by it. And
That's
I believe
amazing.
it affects quite a number of saltwater species too. We had and here's a great case in point. I took some guys fishing for 3 days last week, and they really wanted a swordfish. And we put in a lot of time, and there really wasn't a whole lot of action until, sure enough, 6:15 in the evening to 7:15 was the minor bite time. When it hit 6:20, we had 2 bites.
My goodness.
So I really believe in the Salooner tables.
That's amazing. Well, you know, I think you remember Pam Worth. She used to be my co-host for a long time, and she was a guest before that. She would tell me things about something about the fronts, when a day before the front comes through or a day after the front comes through or something like that.
Absolutely. That's another, listen, I mean, barometric pressure changes. So like if you're on the leading edge of a front and, you know, you can see, let's just say you see a front rolling down from the north to the northwest towards where you're fishing. It's more than coincidental. I mean, the fish usually start biting right then. When the pressure stabilizes, then the bite will slow down a little bit generally. And then vice versa. As you have a rising barometer from low to high, they'll start to bite again. So, I mean, it's, you know, there's no guarantees, but those are like little strategies you can use to kind of increase your odds.
That's amazing. I think of, I say it many times as growing up, my family would go fishing so often. I don't think we knew about any of that stuff other than tides. My dad would look at the tides, but other than that, no. It's just, let's go fishing. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
So many of us can't pick our times that we fish. You know, the times kind of pick us.
Mm-hmm.
But if you find yourself out there and you know to look up that website, you know to, okay, then you get really serious. I mean, for me, I really don't want to be up and running when I know it's a bite time. I want to kind of have my spot.
Yeah.
If I'm in an area that, you know, rather than move 30 miles, I'll rather just sit right there and fish during that bite time.
I agree. I think the odds of you being successful go up if you just set it out where you're at. You know, I would go along with that. I've seen that happen a couple of times. We were, again, this is many, many years ago. We were out pulling one day and had a problem with one of the hoses on the engine, and so we had to stop. And it was a day like you're describing, out on the ocean, like a puddle. So what we did is we just left the lines that we were pulling, just let them lay out there while we worked on this hose and fixed this hose. And as we did that, I guess it was a bite time. I didn't know anything, didn't consider that. But as we worked on this hose, it took about 30 minutes or so, sitting in the same spot, just floating in the water. We started picking up dolphin out of nowhere. So I've experienced that, and I agree with you when you say, I'd rather just sit here and if this is the time that they're going to be doing their business, I'd rather sit here and do it now instead of try to drive to my favorite spot, so to speak.
Well, that's a point well taken. But other than that, I mean, this is going to be one of those enjoyable days. I don't think fishing is going to be super hot. All of my friends I've talked to are kind of having a slow morning so far. But we have seen a couple sailfish release right around us, and we put a couple kings in the box. So we'll just keep plugging away.
On a day like today, Mike, you've already described it a little bit. Would you not, I mean, because it's so still, would you just not give up? Or let me back up a minute. Would you just not use kites today on a day like today?
Yeah, I mean, I really tend to put the kites up when it kind of matches what I'm doing. Today we're targeting blackfin, so kites would really be effective. You put some small white baits out there, or even some small gogs or runners. They create a kind of a that predatory response I always tell you about, is that they're splashing on the surface, and that's kind of needed on a day like today because you need something to get a little disruption. But the deep baits on a day when it gets still and hot are also real effective. So if you can get a little wind and you can get that chum slick going and get some chum getting a little deeper with some live baits in it, I mean, that for me is a great technique for blackfin. Of course, if I had my choice today, given these conditions, I might run 40 miles offshore looking for weed lines and signs for dolphins. I mean, the mahi run we're kind of in it. There's some great dolphin bites going on, and I think, this is the time you can find them. Hell, you could see for miles. You could see a weed line for miles. You could see a pallet floating.
Oh, my gosh.
Today's a great day to run.
That brings back memories. Man, been a long time since I've been able to witness things like that. That's awesome. I know those days there are not too many of them around, but when we have one, they are absolutely amazing to be out there. I call it the deep blue because when you get in really deep water, it just turns in this beautiful deep blue color. And you don't realize you're looking down in the water, and you might be seeing 30, 40 feet down, but it doesn't look like that. It looks like, you're only seeing a couple of feet or so. Wow. So what are you fishing with right now? Are you using live bait?
I'm using live bait. We've got about 6 dozen live bait in the well. If we can get this boat to move a little away from the chum, because right now we're just more or less sitting on top of it. Once we get that to move away from the boat and create a little sensation for a few hundred yards away from us, I'll start live chumming. So we'll start taking some of the smaller baits and flipping those out and getting a little activity going. Look, again, blackfin's the target. Nothing else wins this tournament, so we're just trying to target one species today.
So is the tournament just today?
Just today.
Yeah.
From sunup to sundown. How do you like that?
Wow. Well, it does give you an opportunity. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Do you have to video the fish and send it in? Just take photos.
Yeah.
How are they doing the virtual tournament?
This one they have a weigh station at Sailfish Marina, right where Real Captivating is, and they open the scales at 12 o'clock. So from 12 to 2, I believe, and then again from 7 till 9 tonight. So get your fish. Only one fish counts. Run it to the scales. Wait your turn because they don't want everybody piling up over there. And the biggest fish wins. Top 3 prizes.
Wow. What are the prizes, Mike?
Well, this is classic. The West Palm Club, so loaded with good sponsors and contributors. First prize is, it's just again a fun event. 500, 300, 200 for first, second, and third. But there's no entry fee.
Oh my! And bragging rights. You get bragging rights along with that for first, second, and third.
Well, you get bragging rights, and then the club has got such a big social media presence. They do a little pumping. They'll pump your game up. So it's the whole thing is great.
Mike, is this the West Palm Beach Fishing Club?
Yeah.
It sure is. Yep.
Yeah, we had them on as a guest not too long ago just to tell about all the awesome programs they do and the reed development and the children's programs. Great group.
I love them. I'm a lifetime member there, and that club is probably one of my sons called me yesterday to ask, if this is one of the, how's that club rank in the world? And I believe it's the number 1 club in the world. It's been around the longest. Being right in Palm Beach doesn't hurt you. So yeah, great time.
While you mention your son, I want to give you a big congratulations. I think it was your son. He just graduated?
Oh, yeah. My oldest son graduated. I actually have my youngest son will be graduating as well in the summer. But yeah, my oldest graduated from Stetson Law School yesterday, which was pretty fun.
Well, good job, Dad.
Thanks. Appreciate that. I didn't do anything.
Oh, yeah, you had to do something right. You know, the children are a reflection of the parents. And if they're willing to go through what he went through and get the degree, it was a law degree of some sort, right?
Yeah, he got his law degree there, and he has a certificate in advocacy as well. So that's another competency kind of extra curriculum that he did.
Well, congratulations to him. Congratulations to you as a dad. That's something to be very proud of. I'm honored to have you on with us and to know that your son is going to be among. And so what is he going to pursue now that he's done that?
What's that? I'm sorry. We just got a bite.
Oh, hot dog.
So I missed that last little comment.
I was asking, what is he going to pursue now that he has the degree? Is he going to be an attorney, a prosecutor?
Oh, yeah. He has a job already lined up with the West Palm Beach prosecutor's office.
Oh my!
So that'll be his first job out of college.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Mike. I greatly appreciate it. We're up against a break. I'm going to let Carolyn say so long to you, and then we're going to go to a break. Tight lines out there, my friend.
Hey, always great talking to you. See you, Carolyn. See you, Russ and Riscala. Take it easy.
Got it. Tight line. Go get that tournament win.
Thanks.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show with your host, Riscala Stevens. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped. Even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion. Air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Clubb, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Clubb has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclub.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Clubb. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
Want to give your pet the celebrity treatment? Have you heard of Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care in Royal Palm Beach? They're located just off State Road 7 and have been servicing the area for 14 years. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care is the home of the Blueberry Facial, also specializing in tartar removal with 8 years of assisting in dental procedures. Holly Wolf Pet Grooming and Care? They're more than just about dogs. They are the only experienced cat groomer in the area. They also cater to all breeds and sizes and open 6 days a week. Hollywood Pet Grooming and Care, located just north of the Super Walmart in Royal Palm Beach. You can find them at 250 Business Parkway. They specialize in shampoos with no extra charge. Flea and tick dips also available. Hollywood Pet Grooming and Care. You can give them a call at 561-793-9992. They also provide gift certificates for those looking for that special present. Hollywood Pet Grooming and Care. 561-793-9992. They're located in Royal Palm Beach. That number, 561-793-9992. Call for your appointment today.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We have ignition. Strap in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. It just calls me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah, fishing and blowing on.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida Show. Good morning to you. If you're just joining us, again, we will have archives set up. A big thank you to our home network, WCET FM 101.7 out of Columbia. You can always listen to us there on their website, which is www.wcetfm.com. The easiest way to listen to us, one of the easiest ways, is follow us on our Facebook page. If you go to our Facebook page and click on Contact Us, you'll be linked over to our live server. HighPoint Radio, 1690 out of New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Big thank you to you guys. They carry our show as well. And KYAH, 540 AM out of Utah. They also carry our network. And our latest, Marina Rock Radio. A big thank you to our latest affiliate, Marina Rock Radio, sister station to Yacht Rock, who is a tune-in station. If you have the tune-in app, you can tune us. We were just talking about tunas, weren't we? You can tune us in on that app as well. Now we will have an app. The app is ready. I'm just trying to get it out into the stores, and the app is purposely made in such a way where it doesn't have commercials and stuff on it. It's just gives you the ability to listen to us in our network. This morning I have Carolyn with Atlas Trax with me, and what I like about Carolyn, well, if you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to this young lady over at Atlas Trax because she can help you. Welcome back, my dear.
Absolutely, Riscala. Happy to be back. And during that break, I jumped on that fishing bite website that Mike was just telling us about, and it's pretty handy information.
Isn't that crazy? Well, I took a quick look, but I was trying to take care of the commercials and all that at the same time, so I'm going to go look at that in a few minutes here. In the meantime, I believe I have Captain Neil with me here. Is that you, Captain Neil?
It sure is, Riscala. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Captain Neil Holland with Ocean Aid 360. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing well. Ocean Aid 360, our team here in St. Petersburg, Florida, is doing great.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
Hi, good morning. How you doing, Neil? Can't wait to hear what you have been going on.
Thanks for saying so. Good morning to you as well, and excited to be here with you guys.
So what is the latest and the greatest? And what I love about Captain Neil, he's one of those people that sees to it that he cares about our resources. Maybe that's the easiest way to describe it. He cares about our resources, and he does it in such a way where everybody wins. This is the kind of thing that I like to promote. So tell us a little bit about what the latest and greatest that's going on.
Okay. So basically, Ocean Aid 360 is a marine conservation and habitat restoration nonprofit. We are fully certified and registered with the IRS and with the state of Florida entities. And our flagship project, as you all will know, and your regular listeners will be well aware, is called the Ghost Trap Rodeo Event Series. And the Ghost Trap Rodeo Event Series, basically, it looks just like your favorite inshore competitive fishing tournament, only instead of going out in search of redfish and sea trout and snook, we're out there in search of derelict crab traps and other forms of marine debris. and pulling these things out of the environment because, well, in the case of crab traps, of course, when they go lost or missing, like during a storm, or if a recreational boater passes over them and cuts the buoy line accidentally, those traps get lost, and but they continue to catch fish and kill them, and those fish and sea critters act as bait for the cycle of marine life that comes in behind them. It's a vicious cycle that will stay in effect until the trap is degraded and rotted and broken down by the salt water enough that marine life can escape it without issue. But that process takes up to 4 years, we find. So there's that component, and also other forms of marine debris. And over the last year of programming in Tampa Bay, Riscala, we've pulled over 26,000 pounds of traps and trash out of Florida's largest estuary. So happy to be having an impact here, and it's also important to mention that participants in the Ghost Trap Rodeo are competing in a very friendly, sort of family-friendly competition for $25,000 worth of industry-sponsored fishing tackle prizes through their participation in the Ghost Trap Rodeo. So top collectors go home with some nice items like power poles and Engel coolers and all kinds of good stuff.
Sweet. Wow. I have a plastics background. I used to run a plastics plant many years ago. And plastics is a really neat product, but one of the bad things about plastics is it doesn't break down in our environment. One of the things that Captain Neal mentioned is they picked up these thousands and thousands of pounds of these things out of the water, but they don't just pick them up and stick them in a landfill. What do you do with that stuff?
That's a great point, Riscala. Yeah. So our project is very closely coordinated at every level with Florida's Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Folks know them as FWC. And basically, FWC has a couple of different projects going on. Started in 2018 and continue today. And these projects are to construct oyster reef restoration programs, or oyster reefs, in places where water quality is particularly troublesome. And these oyster reefs, they're used as a filtration mechanism to improve water quality and recruit larval oysters, which will grow into a larger oyster bar and serve as a big water filter for an area. So what happens with our project is that we supply the FWC and their partners that are constructing these oyster reefs with blue crab trap materials, which is the wire mesh. And that wire mesh gets collected into a particular area where the reef is going to be constructed. They stake it out so that it doesn't move, even if the tide is particularly strong. And because there's organic life from barnacles and oysters that are already on these traps in most cases, it serves as a perfect recruitment mechanism, if you will, for larval oysters to come and attach themselves to these materials. And the projects that we've been contributing our traps to thus far have been up in the Angelia River, kind of near Jacksonville and the Florida-Georgia line on the East Coast. And gosh, I have to tell you, it's really just amazing to see how fast these oysters begin to collect on these traps, and the sort of trap mounds that are being made by the Angelia River keepers up there, which is the main partner that we see on this project.
So it's again, coming from a plastics background. Plastics is a neat product. It can be recycled over and over and over again. But the bad thing about it is it doesn't break down very well in our environment. When we have these crab traps, are made primarily out of wood, I think, wood and wire mesh. When they're out there in the environment, they're not breaking down very easily. It takes, I think it would take more than 4 years, honestly. But, we'll just, for argument's sake, we'll say 4 years. It's 4 years that this thing is underwater, catching fish, killing crabs, whatever else comes into contact with this thing. So not only are we helping the environment by removing them, because that in and of itself is a very honorable thing. But then we take what we're removing and reusing and repurposing that. That really is the ultimate of recycling. That's what I liked about plastics, is that could be recycled over and over and over again and still come out with a pretty decent product. And that's what we're seeing here. We're taking a form of recycling, taking something that has become someone's trash, if you will, and turning it into a treasure, really. And turning it into a whole new reef of oysters and filtering the water. The fish win, the people win, everybody wins. I love it.
That's so
Great
cool to hear you
question.
say that, Rizkala. I'm glad you and your listeners see it like I do. That's just great.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
How would one find a ghost trap if the buoy's cut off from it and it
Good
sits on
question.
the bottom? How would one find that?
That's a great question. So here in the Tampa Bay area, and I know lots of other places around the state, we have a really strong tradition of sight fishing and shallow water flats fishing, whether that be by kayak or by traditional flat skiff or a tower boat, like is so popular here in Tampa Bay. And each of those types of vessel give you a real opportunity to elevate your eyeballs up off of the water line and get a view into the water. So basically what we do is try to plan our events around the full and new moons when tides are stronger, and around a good incoming tide. So we'll start people off on the search at the bottom of a low tide, and the incoming water ensures that they won't be getting stuck over the course of their search, if that makes sense. So that low water exposes any traps that might be harder to see under different circumstances. And we also try to plan our events during the cooler months when the algae bloom is down a bit and the water is clearer, as opposed to the summertime when certain areas such as around Tampa Bay would be very hard to see into the water. So that's one way that we're doing that. And we're also working with electronics and side scan, chart plotters and all of that kind of stuff. But so far the biggest method that has proven successful is that sight fishing method that's so popular within our fishing circles.
Captain Neal, when you're doing this, I think there's a moratorium. Am I mistaken? Is there a moratorium on crab traps while you're doing this?
So that's a great question, Rizkala, and I'm really glad you asked about it. It's actually something I wanted to talk about today. The FWC, a few years ago, they implemented blue crab trap fishing closures. This had never existed in Florida, to my knowledge, up until, 5, 7, maybe it was 10 years ago. And basically what they do is they break the state into quadrants, and then they close each quadrant for 10 days at a time. So the East Coast will experience closures during even numbered years, and so the East Coast quadrants are experiencing their closures during 2020, of course, and that means that the Gulf side will be experiencing their closures during 2021. So during that 10-day period, based upon your location in the state, any blue crab traps that you have out in the water have to be removed from the water so that cleaning efforts can take place. Otherwise, those traps can be removed without notifying you or anything like that. And this is strictly so that nonprofits and the state agencies can have a chance to clean derelict traps out of the water to prevent mammals like manatees, dolphins from entangling themselves in the traps, and sea turtles and such, and also prevent this ghost fishing conundrum that I was talking about. The problem that I want to mention, our events are actually planned. Some of them are planned for those closure periods when possible, but we also conduct events during the open fishing season. And during that time, we adhere to very strict determination criteria about which traps come out of the water and which traps don't. Basically, if a buoy is missing from the trap because it's been cut off by a boat, or the trap's been there so long that it's rotted off and floated away, then obviously that trap would be considered derelict and should be removed. And we're also pulling other types of debris at the same time.
I love it. I love the idea of where everybody wins. That's the kind of stuff that I like promoting. I think Carolyn has something. Go ahead, Carolyn.
One win this ghost tournament? Is it by the number of traps they find or by weight? How do you determine a winner?
We give them points for the number of traps. Like, let's say if you brought in 3 traps, you would get, say, 50 points per trap. And then for the number of non-trap debris pounds, I think I said that backwards, but you get the point. That we weigh the amount of debris that is not a trap, and for each pound of that, we'll give you 5 points or something like that. We have a little point system. And a leaderboard, and gosh, it really generates a lot of fun and excitement on these event days, and traditionally everybody leaves with a little prize, so that they can come away having had a really wonderful day and gotten some new fishing equipment or a lure pack or something like that.
This is.
What was that?
Say it again, Carolyn.
How many boats participate typically?
So the average number of boats we've had at each event is probably about 15 boats. At our peak events, we've had, let's see, closer to 35 boats, I would say. And each boat constitutes probably 3 or 4 people usually. So it means a lot of our community members are turning out in support of this initiative. And it's something we've seen gather steam over the course of our time doing it. The project is funded by a grant from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA. They have a marine debris program over there that has provided us some funding to carry out this project between 2018 and 2019. And right now we're working on continuation funding with them that would carry us another 2 years. So that's really phenomenal. We're in the negotiation phase for all of that now.
Well, it's one of those things where everybody wins. I like I think about it. Even the fish win, if you think about it, because we're cleaning up.
You're right.
We're cleaning up behind ourselves, so even the fish win. It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
Rizkala, I do want to mention one other thing
to
your listeners, which is an interesting thing that I've observed during the course of managing the Ghost Trap Rodeo is that the state of Florida has these 10-day closures that I was referring to. The 10-day closures, because there's not a very strong voice from concerted citizens and nonprofit groups who are conducting this kind of cleanup activity, because there are not that many of them all the way around the state. You would think there would be, but there just aren't that many of these community-based groups doing this kind of work. And for that reason, the state of Florida actually has a recent history of closing those 10-day closures early, like reducing the number of days to half, so 5 days in each location for cleanup, or altogether canceling the closure events that are intended to take place and scheduled through the legislation for various areas around the state. And so, in fact, Tampa Bay and the southwest region of Florida was at risk of having the closure event canceled during 2019. And that would have been problematic for our project, of course, because we're really looking forward to having that closure period so we could go out and make rapid determinations on traps that were no longer being actively fished by their angler. So what we did is OceanAid 360 issued a letter to FWC explaining the rationale for why that closure was necessary and should move forward, and what it would mean if the closure was removed from the calendar altogether. And would you believe FWC considered our letter and changed the expected closure, left that period of 10 days open for us to conduct our cleanup activities.
Congratulations.
So thank you so much. And the reason I mention this is just because I want your listeners out there to know that it's really valuable to sit down and put together a letter for your policymakers, and you can have an influence. It's just important to share your opinion and make your voice heard with them. So I want to compel your listeners today to stay involved and to let their voice be heard, because folks like us who are out on the water all the time, I run a fishing charter company here in Tampa Bay. Folks like us who are out on the water all the time, we've got an interesting insight and perspective into our fishery and our ecosystem. And so it's really important that we let our voices be heard, whether that be as private individuals writing letters, making phone calls, or through support to groups like the Coastal Conservation Association and Tampa Bay Watch and OceanAid 360.
Yeah, we had Lisa on, I think it was last week, with CCA of Florida, another phenomenal organization, giving back, the kind of stuff that I love to hear about. Greatly appreciate you taking the time, my friend. God bless you. Wish you an awesome day, and we'll have you back on in a little while, and you can give us some more updates about what's going on. Let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you, and I wish you well.
Thank you so much, Ruscala.
Capt. Neil, thank you so much for all that work you do out there and keeping the fisheries a little bit younger and growing as well. So thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for saying so, Carolyn. I want to let you both know before I go that cobia and tarpon and snook fishing over here in St. Petersburg, Florida, has just been bananas lately. I got a 40-pound cobia sight fishing the other day.
Oh my gosh!
Yep, and we're just crawling with tarpon at the moment. So
my goodness,
I hope folks will get on over here. If they want to find me, they can do that at gofishtampabay.com.
gofishtampabay.com. Captain Neil Holland, thank you so much. God bless you, my friend.
Okay, guys, have a great day.
All righty. All right, I have my next guest is already on the line, and she's actually from Captain Neil's area. She's Angelia, but I don't know if she's down in the Keys or she's still over there in Captain Neil's area. Good morning, Angelia.
Good morning. I am in Captain Neil's area still.
Hot dog. Well, so you can go out there and enjoy some of what he was talking about, cobias and what did he say, snook and tarpon?
And I wanted to add to what he said. He said the redfish are just kind of on fire right now in the Tampa Bay area, and I've seen that to be true. And down in the Keys, the backcountry redfishing is just amazing right now. They are just hitting them one after another.
Wow.
Real important to get those babies on like the outgoing tide. Once the tide goes out, they usually don't want to bite real well. But you catch that outgoing tide up around the mangroves, and the redfish are just on fire in the backcountry.
My
But
goodness.
what I was really happy about, since I made my way from the Keys up to the Tampa Bay area, I am just thrilled to see the head boats heading out of Pinellas County right now. It is making me so happy. They're carrying 30 and 40 people at a time on the very large.
Finally. Finally.
Yeah. The company that I started with and cut my teeth on head boat fishing in Clearwater Beach, they've got a 65-foot boat they're carrying 30 people a day on. They've got an 85-foot boat they're carrying 40 people a day on. That's the Double Eagle charters. And the Queen Fleet right next to them at Clearwater Basin Marina, they're doing the same. They're carrying 30 and 40 people a day. And you have no idea how nice it is to see these people loading up on this boat and coming in with these giant stringers of fish. Grouper are being caught like crazy out there in the Gulf right now. Same for the reef and the Keys. But yeah, it just thrilled me to death. I stalked the head boats for a few days because I love them so much, and just had the greatest time going out one afternoon. And yeah, just really, really nice to finally watch Clearwater Pass and see all the head boats coming in the afternoon like they should be. By the way, Clearwater Beach does not look any different than it did before this whole thing happened right now.
Hot dog.
That was really nice to see too, yeah.
I didn't give Carolyn an opportunity to say hello to you, and we've been having a problem with her on and off. And Carolyn, can you hear me? I mean, can I hear? Of course you can hear me. Can I hear you?
Absolutely.
There she is.
Absolutely, Angelia. I was so on board with you telling all your fishing stories. I didn't even want to butt in.
Well, it's thrilling to me, and fishing is my passion, and I have a special place in my heart and a special love for the head boats, the party boats, whatever you'd like to call them. It's just no frills fishing, and like I said, that's sort of where I cut my teeth and really got my love for it as a young woman. And to see them just shut down and just sitting in the dock, not moving, and everyone out of work, it was just so sad to see. And,
yeah, it is.
They started running almost 2 weeks ago. They've been running now. And to be able to go out there and see people loading on the boat and bringing back fish and happy and the beach busy and people fishing from the piers and people launching their boats and the waterways were busy. And it was just nice to see finally. Yes. It looks like normalcy to me. Coming from the ghost town and the Keys, it just was so wonderful to see normalcy, you know?
Are the Keys still under restriction?
We're still under restriction. There's still the roadblock for no visitors, residents only. The good news is we finally opened some of our eateries, some of our restaurants and stuff. Yeah, that was a nice start to reopening, and they're talking about by the end of May or June 1st, going ahead and reopening to visitors and reopening boats. And our head boats, our excursion boats. We have a lot of excursion boats down there for the tourists, and it's just so sad to see no boats going out. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed, and I'm saying my prayers that June 1st the Keys will start to go back to normalcy. That would be really nice. So,
I'm gonna agree with you on that prayer.
Yeah, but a couple of restaurants opening, or a lot of our restaurants opening and being able to open was really, really nice. And like I said, I sat on Clearwater Beach sort of in shock the first day, just going, "Oh my gosh, it doesn't look like anything ever happened here. This is wonderful."
So it's all pretty much open there. Everything's open now.
Very open. Everything looks pretty darn busy. The beach is very busy, and like I said, the boats are busy. Not just the head boats, but the charter boats.
Good.
And it's just a beautiful thing to see things coming back to normalcy. It's really nice.
Well, we have
tomorrow. We might have a little partial opening on our side.
Yeah. I think there's still boat ramps that aren't open in various areas. What'd you tell me, Carolyn? Down in Dade County? Still
open. I think Broward is supposed to be open tomorrow, and I did see the Helen S. head boat go out this morning on one of the video cameras on the inlet. So that was good to see that go out. I couldn't tell how many people on board, but vessels moving need to be done.
Yeah.
That's great. Isn't that a beautiful sight, Carolyn, to see those head boats going out? That's when you know that fishing is starting to go back to normal. Or
Angelia, I was never so happy to see a 1950 boat go out the inlet than I was this morning.
I am right there with you, girl. I love those 1950 head boats coming in and going out. That's just a beautiful sight. And I could see how loaded up they were. And I was on the dock waiting for them to come in. I wanted to see the catch. I wanted to see happy people, happy families, happy visitors to Florida. It does seem to be a lot of Floridians on our beaches and on our boats right now. But that's great, too, because we've been cooped up with this beautiful weather.
Yep.
So
I agree.
To be able to get the families out, back on the water, back on the beaches, back fishing. And I'm sorry, but fresh air has got to be the best thing for our heads and our hearts.
Absolutely.
And our health.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
That's scientific. That's not just an opinion. That's a doctors. Many doctors have said the same thing. The combination of the fresh air, the salt, and the sun do your body much more. You have more benefits from that than sitting at home inside of a house. Far more.
Absolutely.
Far more benefits.
And I believe that we are social beings.
Yeah.
We need to be out and be socializing, even if we are just on a boat with some strangers fishing. It's very important.
It's part of our makeup.
Yeah. It's very important to me. But yeah, the beach looks great down there. And like I said, the boats are coming in, the grouper are coming in heavy. I saw more giant white grunts than I've ever seen before. So I must have been waiting on them.
Oh. So, we had Mike Simko with kitefishing.com on earlier, and he's out there actually he's on the East Coast over here. He's out there fishing for tuna right now, and he said it's like a puddle out there. It's so calm. Are you seeing the same thing where you are?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my.
It's very, very calm. Hey, and as far as the Keys go, we finally had our first tournament that I'm aware of go off last weekend, or actually it was 2 weekends ago in Marathon, the Bull and Cow tournament. And some really, really nice fish got brought in. The mahi are starting to come in size. They're starting to come in numbers. So that's really nice. They're out there 600 feet plus, guys. So don't the reef line, get offshore if you want to get those mahi. You still got some really nice kingfish coming in, and you still got a few wahoo coming in. So the fishing is just really good. The fish are out there waiting on us.
It's like
nice.
It's like a buffet line. We got kings, we got mahis, we got sails, we've got, you name it, part of the buffet line.
Yeah, then
just get out there and enjoy it.
You got your snook and your redfish and your drum and your cobia, and everything's kind of coming in right now, and it's just really, really nice to see. It seems like we're getting a nice mixture of our leftover winter fish and our summer fish, and I don't think the fish know what time of the year it is anymore. I really don't. So I saw another really, really nice big 60-pound kingfish come in, and that's always fun to see.
Oh my!
And,
wow.
Yeah, the fishing been great. It feels like life is getting back to normal.
Thank you, God.
That would be great.
Well, we still got a couple of things to work on over here, but I think tomorrow will be a major step forward for us on this side of the state. I'm glad that things are opening back up, because I feel that a lot of people feel like I've been going through. It's just frustrating to watch this go on and on, and everything come to a halting stop. And the one thing that doesn't stop are the bills, unfortunately. They just continue, So it's good to see this activity starting back up again, because this is one of those things where everybody's going to win. It'll take a little while, but once the activity starts to pick back up, the tourism will pick back up. We'll pick up different areas of the economy. Local economy will pick back up. And again, it's a everybody kind of wins kind of thing. Any idea when you're going to go back to the Keys?
I will be back before the end of the month, because if we are opening June 1st, I'm going to be there on opening day, and hopefully I will be working, because I, like the rest of the world, got shut down in the Keys. May 22nd, I think, was our last day that, I'm sorry, not May, March 22nd. Yeah, March 22nd was the last day that I worked. That was the last day. I was one of the people that worked probably a week or two longer than a lot of people I know, so I was lucky.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm going on almost 2 months of being out of work, and I'm not that kind of girl. I like to stay really, really busy. So yeah, I'm ready to go back to work. I will be back in the Keys before the end of the month, and I am hoping to be back at work and back on the water in a working kind of way, not just a playing kind of way on the 1st. So, in fact, not next weekend. Oh, I'm sorry, not next weekend is Memorial Weekend. I lose track of time with all this.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Next weekend's Memorial Weekend. The weekend after that is the Skipper's Dockside Tournament out of Key Largo, and I will be back for that.
Oh, cool.
Absolutely.
So for those of you who may be not familiar with this young lady, she's also known as the Florida Salty Cowgirl. There's many ways that you can reach her. Facebook comes to mind. I think she's on Instagram. Where else are you at?
I'm still working on getting my website back up at floridasaltycowgirl.com, guys. Just keep checking it out. You can always reach me at floridasaltycowgirl@gmail, or you can reach me on my phone at 813-610-0078. My 33-foot center console Hydrosport is ready to rock with new upholstery and clean as can be, and ready for charters, guys. So anybody who's interested, please get in touch.
Lots of years under her belt, her fishing belt, if you will. Lots of experiences that she could, oh my gosh, she can tell you about experiences that would just amaze you, particularly up in the ones I love about Alaska. Anyway, let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you, and we're going to shut the show down here in just a couple of seconds. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Angelia, we are more salty sisters. I have a 33 Hydrosport as well, so we'll definitely have to co-share some boats. Yeah, absolutely. 2006 is ours.
Awesome. Mine's an 09, but I love her.
Hope to see you
awesome.
soon.
All right, Angelia.
See you soon, and happy fishing to everybody, guys.
Thank you so very much. God bless you, my dear. I wish you an awesome day. It is an awesome day, but I hope it's as awesome as you are. And looking forward to hearing from you next week. God bless. All right, Miss Carolyn, I want to thank you for taking the time to be co-host today. I greatly appreciate it, my dear. And to our affiliates, a big thank you to you guys. And I'll give you an opportunity to say goodbye, and we'll get out of here.
Be out there fishing, be safe, and keep your eyes on the horizon.
All right, everybody. We'll see you in a week. God bless.